We are with Coach DeVito, head men's soccer coach, to talk about the recently completed season. The team finished 9-7-2 overall in 6th place in the Little East. Did you feel that those statistics do justice to the team?
I think our overall record was a little disappointing in some ways because I think we know we could have done a little better in some of the games, but soccer is kind of a weird game. You make one or two small mistakes, and they kind of determine the game. And most goals, most games in soccer are determined. A lot of them are determined by just one goal, and goals are so hard to score. And we gave up some free kick goals on restarts that we probably wish we had a chance to do over. But I think our record was a little deceiving because WestCon won our conference. We beat WestCon. UMass Boston finished second in our conference. We played very well against them. We tied them. Rhode Island College finished third, and we lost after kind of having the better of the play in the game. We lost on a late free kick. It's on and on. Keene finished fourth, and we tied them and outshot them and out corner kicked them. So I think the record didn't really show how hard the guys worked in a lot of games, but it also taught us that the little things can cost games. And over the years, we've won a lot of those games. And this year, some of the bounces didn't go our way, and found some ways that we need to get better for next year for sure. But definitely encouraging.
Like the women's team, injuries played a huge part in the season. Was the team that you envisioned in preseason the same team that finished the season?
And injuries are always a big part of sports, unfortunately. A huge injury for us was Justin Jensen, and one player doesn't make the team, but he had been playing so well last spring. He played really well. We scrimmaged Brandeis, who's been in the Final Four the last 2 years, and he got the goal. And he really would have been a big key somewhere in our midfield as an attacking player, and he's creative, and he's probably one of our better players on the ball. And we were able to move things around, and the guys who replaced him did a great job, and they all, J.D. Stearns, no one works harder than that guy, and they all add things, all the guys that played in the middle of the park this year, the seniors, Xavier Doran, Nick Warren, and some of the younger guys, they did a great job. But it would have been nice to have JJ for his creativity in that role. And our left back got a head injury early on in the season, which caused us to move some players around and have to kind of shuffle some guys around. So those were two big parts of it. So you can never have enough guys. That's the one thing you realize. But the players that moved into those roles, like I said, the guys that moved into JJ's role always gave their best. And the freshman that stepped into left back, even though he's not a left-footed player, played almost every minute of every game, and he did a great job. So we would have liked a different team out there, with a couple of guys maybe not getting hurt, but you always got to be ready for it, unfortunately.
You had to be encouraged when the team got off to a 4-1 start with 4 shutouts and only 1 goal allowed, but the team followed by going 1-5 in its next 6. With 4 LEC games to be played, what was the team's mindset at that point?
I told them all season, I thought it was, especially at the end, I told them that I thought their mindset was incredible, because a lot of teams or players at that point, you kind of 2 ways you can go with it. You can either say, all right, well, we don't have a really good chance of making the playoffs, so we can kind of just fall off. So I think to have that bad stretch in where we maybe could have gotten, different results, or we would have liked to get better results in the middle of the season, I think it shows a lot about how hard our guys worked, and the tone that some of the older guys set, not packing it in, because they kept fighting, and the way we finished the season gave us a great chance, right up until the end, and just showed how maybe one more goal, and maybe if we hadn't given up the goal in the Keene game late, that was the difference between being in 4th place and 6th place, just 1 goal. And that's how small of a margin for error. And this is the first year we haven't made the playoffs in a really long time, and it's just that one play, But other years we don't concede that goal, and maybe we deserve to be in 6th place, but we finished in 3rd. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, our guys deserve better this year, for the effort that they put in.
As it has most every year, the team has great results at Nevers Field with a 7-1-1 record. Did the team play poorly on the road, or was the 2-6-1 record away from home more of a product of the competition?
Man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that question, because if I knew, then we wouldn't be 2-6. We have to figure it out as a coaching staff. I don't know what we're doing that we need to do better, but we always look at it. What can we do better to get them ready to play on the road? And we didn't play well against Plymouth. I think that's one game that kind of stands out. We didn't play one of the halves against Gordon on the road. We didn't play well. It was kind of a longer bus trip, no excuses. But I think for the most part, we played really well at Dartmouth, and we gave up a goal on a penalty kick, and we outshot them, out corner kicked them. Played some really good soccer. We didn't get the result. Some of the other games that were, they're 1-goal losses. I don't think it's a function of playing poorly, other than maybe a half against Plymouth and a half against Gordon. But we do, it is something that we're looking at, because obviously, what's the difference between playing at Nevers and playing on the road? But we try to give ourselves the best chance to win, and got to figure it out. Got to figure out why there's that discrepancy. It won't be that way next year. We'll figure it out, Mackenzie.
Would you consider your season to be successful this year? Why or why not?
I think I kind of alluded to it before. Obviously, we wanted, some of our goals, make the playoffs. We want to make the playoffs every year. It's not easy when only 4 teams make it. Some of the other sports, 6 teams make it, or some sports all the teams make it to the playoffs. So it's challenging, and we like that. And like I said, we're 1 goal away from making the playoffs. I think when you look at the results we had against the top teams in our conference, it shows that we deserved it, just as much as anyone. Or not deserved it, but we were capable just as much as anyone in our conference of, a couple results different, and we win the conference. 2 more wins, 3 more wins, instead of a tie and a couple losses, and you win. So it's a fine margin of error. I think overall, there's definitely a lot of successes. I mean, we think we went 3-1 against teams that were in the NCAA tournament. We beat Hobart, we beat Salem, beat WestCon, and we lost to Conn College. So if you look at our potential, for next year, and in some of those specific areas to the competition, relative to the competition, we had a great result against Babson. We had one, really great weekend where we beat, WestCon and Babson back-to-back, really close games. So some of those things stand out as really successful, and the other ones really just stand out. I wouldn't say not successful, but I would say definite areas where we have to pay more attention to detail next year.
What is one of the most memorable moments from the 2017 season?
There's a few. I mean, we got down 2-0 to Salem State at home, at Nevers, and it was really against the run of play. We made a couple of mistakes. But again, I think, and that was at a point in our season where things weren't going great, and that's where we kind of turned the corner from that 1-4 or 1-5 stretch, and got over the, back on the upward trend. But we were down 2-0, and we were outplaying them, and we never quit. And even before, we went on to win the game, we missed a penalty kick. We didn't miss it. He made it the first time. We had to take it again because the referee said he was, somebody was inside the box or whatever. And probably the hardest thing in the world to do is take a penalty kick a second time. But even missing that penalty kick and not scoring, we still came back and, were able to score 3 goals and get the result. So that stands out. The Western Babson weekend definitely stands out. The first weekend of the season, going up to Hobart and beating them on their field, and then they turned into conference champions and made it, to the NCAA tournament. We played really well against Cortland that weekend. Going up to Boston and getting a 0-0 result is never easy. So I think there was quite a few, and then there were some games obviously were very disappointing. We want to be better.
What were some of the goals that the team hoped to reach this year, and were they reached?
Like I said, we obviously want to get to the playoffs every year. We want to play our best all the time. It's more of a process than, just we want to win this many games or we want to do this. So you try to incorporate those things. And like I said, I think for the most part, this was a year where we outplayed a lot of the teams we lost to. If you look at the statistics or the numbers, so I feel like, in most games we played well enough to win. And there was a couple, that I look back at, Plymouth and Gordon, maybe we didn't play well enough to win. But for the most part, I thought every game we competed. And so as far as accomplishing goals, that's our goal. We want to work hard. We want to give ourselves a chance to win every game. And, you know, I feel like we accomplished those goals. Obviously, we want to, you know, an outcome goal is we want to be in the LEC tournament. We want to win the LEC. We want to get to the NCAA tournament. We didn't accomplish those outcome goals. But I think as a process, which you kind of have to look at, you know, I give us a B grade.
All right, and last question, what are some things that you are looking forward to next season?
Great attitude amongst, and we always do, but, you know, just a great attitude amongst the returners. And I attribute that to, you know, the guys leading the program and the work that they did, you know, say last summer or the summer before that, of acclimating the new guys to the program and instilling in them, you know, what our program is all about. And then, of course, every class, you know, and every group and every team, it's always changing in college, puts its different twist on it. But, you know, we trained for a couple of weeks after the season was over, and, you know, it'd get to be 4:15 where it was starting to get dark, and guys are saying, "Coach, one more ball, one more this, one more that," you know. So to me, that's really encouraging that, you know, they enjoyed being there, that they enjoy each other. I think as a whole, like, you know, not just our returners, but the whole group this year got along probably better than they ever have, you know, and that's a tribute to, you know, the seniors, to the juniors, to kind of creating that environment. And so I'm really looking forward to next year's group, and also our recruiting class. We've already got, I think, 6 kids committed for next year. So hopefully everybody gels again, and I think we'll recruit a few extra guys to plan for some of these injuries that we didn't have enough guys for this year. You know, it got to the point where, you know, we'd have like 17 guys practicing because of the walking wounded that were around, you know. But that's it. I think that's a sign of how hard they compete, and a little bad luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.